Welcome, everybody. Do you feel like you are struggling right now? Maybe going through like burnout, overwhelm, frustration, anxiety. And that could be just a part of the fact that we're in the holiday season, or that could just be a part of the season of life that you're in right now. You know, do you ever look at yourself and look at your life and think like, man, I'm not really good at anything special. So how do I change this thing? How do I stop struggling with what I'm struggling with? And if you've thought anything like that, any connection to anything along those lines, then this episode is going to be for you, because most people that I talk to, parents, entrepreneurs, people who are working away in those 9-to-5s, the most capable people, it's not that you're struggling because you lack gifts. You're struggling because you can't see those gifts and how you could utilize them day after day. So like, what comes so naturally to you? What feels normal, obvious? What feels so easy to you? Like, you downplay it, you dismiss it, you assume like it just doesn't count. And so that's what we call gift blindness. And it keeps honestly, it's keeping parents, entrepreneurs, employees like yourself, like stuck chasing after these skills that drain them, comparing themselves to louder people, or wondering why like confidence never seems to click for them. And so we want to dive deep into that today. Now, this is day 12 of the ultimate 25 days to ignite your spark. If you're new here and you haven't watched the other 11 videos, that's okay. You can stick around and watch this one, or you could go to the channel and go look. We've got a playlist with every video for the 25-day challenge. We start on December 1st. We're working through December 21st. Every day we have a video where we're kind of adding on from the last one. So if you haven't watched the other ones, that's fine. You can keep watching. I just may reference things from past videos that you haven't done yet. And so if that's the case, you could go watch it after the fact, go get caught up. And just because we're on day 12 and it's December 12th, doesn't necessarily mean that that's the day you have to be on. The 25 days, if anyone did these 25 days in a row, it would have such a drastic change in their lives. It would be insane what it would do for you. But for those of you who've been around, who've seen the other 11 videos, welcome back, to day 12. And that, might sound like it's a big deal at first, like it's not a big deal at first that you made it to 12 days, but it really is, because you're showing up, like you've been showing up this long. We're almost to 2 weeks, especially when December and when things can feel heavier. And it really does say something about you. Like, you're not trying to survive the season. You really are paying attention and you're doing the work. Over the last 11 days, like, we've been laying out the real groundwork of everything we're doing. So like days 1 through 6, we worked on the shift phase, right? Where we start to wake up from autopilot, break out of survival mode, let go of the old stories and the comparison, the pressure that we've been carrying for far too long. Now, days 7 through 11 was all about prioritizing. We were deciding what actually matters to you, protecting your energy, choosing joy on purpose, simplifying all the noise around us this time of year, and learning how to create real connection instead of waiting for it. Well, day 12, which is today, we're stepping into the new phase. We're moving forward in Spark to Awaken. All right? Like, this is where things really start to get personal, because once you stop running on autopilot, once you stop chasing everything everyone says, like, the question starts to surface, whether you've asked it out loud or not. You're going to hear versions of this in your brain where it's like, what do I actually bring to the table? What do I offer? What am I meant to do with my life? My experiences, my energy, all the things I've been through. How can I truly make an impact in other people's lives? How can I use that for good? Like, not just for a business idea, but for anything. Oftentimes, like, you're going to look outside yourselves for answers on these things, and that's where most people start to get stuck. Like, you go study what's impressive, what's trending, what are other successful people seem to be doing, or what are they good at, and then you try to become someone else, and that puts you into performance mode. And if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you're going to know that I hate performance mode. It drains your energy. That process, like, you completely overlook what you already have. You have your gifts, your superpowers, and you're the only person with your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences, which means you're the only person who can make an impact in people's lives the way you can. And they're waiting for you to realize that. So it's so important that you understand your gifts, like, not the gifts that you wish you had, not the talents that you think look impressive on paper, but the ones that you already are part of you, like, so familiar, so natural, so easy that they've been, like, you dismiss it. You dismiss it while you're going through life. Once again, that's that gift blindness. It's when, you can spot everyone else's strengths instantly, but like, when it comes to you, think like, man, there's nothing special. I'm just normal. Anyone could do that. I just feel like I'm behind. Like, the truth is, like, this matter, like, the things that feel just easiest to you, the abilities that you barely think of, the ways that you just naturally help or see or connect or create, like, those are not meaningless. Those are the clues. You've just been blind to them, not because they don't matter, but because, like, they've always been there. I know personally, I've been there for years. I dismissed everything I was naturally good at because, like, they just didn't seem impressive to me. They didn't, like, lead to, like, the jobs I were going for, whatever. Me being able to see patterns and connect ideas and help people, believe in themselves and make the complex things in life simple. Like, it just felt so obvious to me, so I just assumed it wasn't. I spent years chasing skills that looked impressive on the outside while ignoring the gifts that were already shaping how I saw the world and how I could show up in the world authentically. And then someone said something that stopped me cold. They said, hey, you see things other people don't. You help people understand themselves. Like, that's not normal. That's a gift. Once again, nothing about my abilities changed that day. It was the clarity, and that's what we want to give you today. We're not talking about becoming someone new, or going out to the woods to find yourself. Like, no, we're talking about waking up the person who's already there and doing it in the messy middle of your life that you're already doing. Once again, this is all part of this fun 25-day thing. It's day 12 in the Awaken phase. I usually do this at the top of the videos. I forgot to do it, but if you are new here, welcome to the Giver Method channel. If you're back for another video, welcome back. I always cover the fact that my name is Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and author of this book. It's called The Giver Method. And I do that because everything we're going to talk about today is grounded in principles from the Giver Method. At the same time, we just hit our 1-year mark a few weeks back since the book came out, and it has helped thousands of people like you, parents, entrepreneurs, people working away their 9-to-5, to discover their gifts and superpowers, create impact and influence in people's lives, more value for the people around them, make every engagement and interaction and improved, enhanced, like better relationship riches. Once again, more surprise, delight, joy in their lives. That's what the book does. So it came out a year ago. So right now, I put it on sale. So you can go on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. Right now, you can get it for as little as $2. I think it's $2 to $10 based off the version you buy. So use the link in the description or pause the video, go to Amazon, find The Giver Method by Jake Talbert, buy yourself a copy. I highly recommend you buy somebody else a copy to give away, like gift it forward, pay it forward to someone. Buy a couple copies and send me a message, and maybe I'll do something for you. Like I said, it'll change your life. So use the link in the description to get that. Now today I'm going to walk you through 4 simple practices that help you start seeing your gifts clearly. Once again, the G in the Giver Method, it stands for gifts, your gifts and your superpowers. So this one's like one of my favorite topics to cover. How you can actually see your gifts clearly, and maybe sometimes for the first time you haven't seen them. Once again, we're not talking about ego. It's not about comparing yourself to anyone else, and it's definitely not about pretending that you don't have weaknesses, because we all do. I suck at a lot of things, but I'm really, really good at things that many people benefit from because I can help them with it. Like, it's about recognizing what's yours so you can stop chasing what isn't. Once again, like, if you ever felt like just ordinary or overlooked or unsure about the value you bring, like, this is what you need. Every practice is designed for people who can't see the value on their own, right? Like frameworks that diagnose your natural abilities, strategies that help you reveal what your gifts are that you've been dismissing, tools that help you distinguish what's yours versus what you're forcing. Like, that's what this is all about. Let's really dive deep in that. Once again, if you want to go deeper, go get yourself a copy of The Giver Method on Amazon. You can also go follow us on all the social medias, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, under the handle of The Giver Method. Those are great ways that we post additional resources for people all the time. You can go to thegivermethod.com, check out some of our free resources. I'll put some of those down in the description as well. Feel free to check those out. Everything that we talk about with the book and what we do is about discovering your gifts and using them intentionally. Like, that's the foundation of the Giver Method. Now, if you're ready for one-on-one help, we just launched. You can join me in our Ignition Accelerator program. Like, this is a 90-day private one-on-one coaching program where we'll help you discover your gifts and build your life around them. There's only a couple spots left. Like, if you go to the page and it'll tell you how many spots are left, and feel free to check it out. Like, maybe it makes sense for us to book a call and talk about what that could look like for you. Once again, we're on day 12 of 25, day 1 of the Awaken phase, which is going to be days 12 through 16. We're entering that more self-discovery phase. So make sure we do that. If you haven't done it already, go do all the YouTube things. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, like the video, comment your thoughts along the way. What are the things that you're taking away from this? With that, let's dive in. Stop wasting any more time. The first area or principle that I like to cover with this, whenever we start talking about gifts, is like why you can't see what everyone else sees. This is where your gift blindness wake-up call. Because it might be uncomfortable for some people, but it's incredibly freeing. If you don't, if you ever looked at your life and you think those thoughts that we talked about of I don't have anything special, I'm just normal, I'm just ordinary, how do I change, or how would I get out of where I'm at based off this? Once again, then you know what this is right away. It's not humility, it's gift blindness. And gift blindness it's what happens when things just come to you naturally and so obvious and easy, so familiar, that you completely overlook your real strengths. You can't spot the gifts, you can spot gifts in other people like that. Sometimes you can just notice it. You're like, oh man, she's amazing with people. Oh, he always sees the solutions. Oh, they bring calm into the chaos. But when it comes to yourself, well, that doesn't count. Anyone can do that. It's no big deal. Like, that's the disconnect, is where most capable parents, entrepreneurs, employees get stuck, is not because they lack value, but because like familiarity has like made their value invisible to them. And so let's talk about how you change that. So there's a couple steps you can go through. Number one would be catch the gift blindness language you use. And if you pay attention to how you talk, a lot of times you can catch the things that you need to start correcting. You know, if you finish these honestly, if you've ever said these out loud, thought these thoughts, and you can finish it honestly, like, you're gonna notice some stuff. If you're ever like, hey, it's not special because it's easy for me. Like, I've always been able to do it. It's just, I thought it's common sense. Like, I didn't have to learn it. It just came to me. And then notice the stories that you tell yourself about like what real gifts should look like. Well, gosh, the real gifts, real, superpowers people have, like, they require struggle. They have to be impressive. They have to make me stand out dramatically. They looks like successful people have. Like, people start businesses off of those things. Whatever. Just write it down. We're not judging our thoughts on this, but like, we're just exposing them, because these sentences, like, they quietly run your life. They run on this like auto programming in the back of your brain without you realizing it. And then the second thing we want to do here is flip the easy. Like, easy means worthless lie that we tell ourselves. Like, because people believe that, and they don't ever push back or question it. Like, if it's easy for me, it must be easy for everyone. And that's backwards. The truth is, if it's easy for you, but it's hard for others, that's exactly what makes it your gift. So asking yourself things like, what do I do easily that others struggle with? What feels obvious to me but confuses others? What do people thank me for that surprises me? What do I get frustrated when I'm like, why don't you understand what I'm trying to show you? Why can't you get what I get? It's so easy. Like, those aren't throwaway traits. Like, that's your wiring. Stop dismissing your, like, what you've always been able to do, because this, a really sneaky form of the gift blindness sounds like, I've always been able to do that, so it can't be special. But your gifts often show up really early in life. It's not evidence against them, it's evidence for them. If you think back, like, well, what came naturally to you as a kid? What if people commented on your whole life? Like, what have you done effortlessly for years? A lot of people realize something like, man, I've always been able to sense what people are feeling. But I thought everyone could. Turns out, guess what? They can't. I can't. If you can sense other people's feelings really well, that's a gift I don't have. Something I work on. That's empathy. We can go look at people like my wife, and like, she's got empathy like crazy. That's emotional intelligence. That's like a gift that you've probably been ignoring for decades. And then you notice where comparison is quietly shrinking what you have. Like, gift blindness gets louder when you try to compare it, in certain places. When comparison walks in the room, it really shrinks how you feel. It sounds like sure, I can do this, but look at what they can do. What's really happening is, like, you're comparing your inside experiences, like, and where your gift feels easy, to someone else's outside results where their gifts look impressive. Like, and so write out, like, okay, well, who I compare myself to, like, write out who that is. What I dismiss about myself because of that comparison, write out that. The truth, like, we have different gifts. Mine doesn't have to look like theirs. Mine is grounded in different experiences than theirs. Once again, you don't have to be an expert to be able to utilize your gifts for people. One of my favorite ways I've heard someone describe an expert is like, if you know more than I do on a topic and you can show me how and provide me that value, you're an expert to me. Like, that's what it is. It doesn't mean you're lesser. You've got like gifts and superpowers and value to offer other people. Now, the fifth step in that area is going to be like, let go of the, like, I have to struggle for it to be a gift. Like, there's a myth there. And yeah, a lot of gifts, a lot of superpowers are born out of the struggle. Like, the things that you had a hard time with. And we talk a lot about those things. But many people believe that if it's not something that's hard, it can't be valuable, But gifts and skills are very different. Gifts, like, they feel natural and energizing and almost automatic. Skills are often, like, feel effortful and learned. Struggle doesn't disqualify you, but like, ease is a clue. Ask yourself, like, do I do what feels like I'm breathing, or is it feel like I'm like having to perform or try harder? Gosh, well, that should tell you where your gifts are living. And then you understand, like, the inside and outside gap that's happening, because like you experience your gifts from the inside where they feel normal. Others are experiencing from the outside where they feel impressive, and that gap is the blindness that we're talking about. So your experience was like, I was just being helpful. Theirs was, man, how did you even think of that? Any moment where somebody reacted with surprise or gratitude that you shrugged off, like, go write those down. Those are going to be moments of gold that identify, like, key areas where your gifts could be living. And then the next thing, like, you name these things. Like, this matters more than you think. Like, you say this out loud, like, okay, hold on, I've got gift blindness, and I've been dismissing, like, abilities that feel normal to me, but matter to others, like, matter deeply to others. What feels easy to me isn't worthless, it's revealing, and I'm willing to see like what I've been blind to so I can go help people. Like, once again, saying things like this and saying it out loud, it helps you shift. It helps your brain see what's different and what's going to change. Most people don't struggle because they lack gifts. They struggle because they've been trained to overlook them. You know, once you stop dismissing what comes naturally to you, you stop trying to become someone else. You can start building from who you are, which is way more powerful. Now, the second area I want to focus on, second principle, is like you follow the evidence your gifts have been leaving. Like they've been leaving you clues, breadcrumbs all along. You know, here's the thing: people, you know, often, I don't know, like the mistake they make after realizing that they have gift blindness is like they wait for some dramatic, like, aha, now I can go find it. I need to go to that retreat, that event, that thing. It's like, yeah, you can do a bunch of work to find them, but if you start to look backwards, like there's a lot there. You know, your gifts usually don't announce themselves with fireworks. They leave the little breadcrumbs along the way. And so that's what this is about, slowing down long enough to look for the evidence that your life has like quietly been producing for years, leaving these markers for you. Most people say like, hey, I don't know what I'm good at, but like they've never actually looked. And so that's where we change this. Like, let's turn your life into like a mirror. And the way that you're going to do that is like, number one, list what the things that just feel effortless to you, you know, with what's easy, even boring to you. You know, if you're like, I can easily blank, and don't overthink it. Just brain dump, no matter what it is. It's amazing how if you just write, sometimes something you feel might be silly and not want to write actually is one of the biggest ahas that you'll have. So it's like, I can easily see the big picture. I can easily make people feel comfortable or organize chaos. I can explain the complicated. I can remember details about people. I can sense what's needed in the moment, whatever. You're aiming for 10 to 15 statements. Once again, don't judge them. You know, don't let your brain be like, well, that's not that impressive. Like, no, it doesn't matter. Just write it down. You know, the voice in your head has no authority over the fact that like, yeah, this is easy for me. And then the second thing, like track what people thank you for. If you shift your perspective to others, what do people thank you for? At work, hey, thanks for what? You know, at home, like, hey, I really appreciate how you blank. With friends, like, oh, you're so good at. Even strangers, like, wow, you blank. Like, whatever. Like, you know, if you hear something like more than once, it matters. And if nothing comes to mind, pay attention this week. Like, if you're like, well, I can't think of what people have said. Well, watch this week. You're going to start noticing things that you've been brushing off for years. And then the next thing, watch out for the of course moments. Like, these are the moments where you think like, well, of course that's what I do. Because like everyone else thinks like, man, how did you even think of that? You know, of course I'd check in on them. Of course I'd create a system for that. Of course I'd see that connection. Of course I'd step in to help. Well, what's obvious to you is often invisible genius. Like, write those moments down. Then the next thing to do is notice like what you do on autopilot. If you're like, well, what am I doing? And like just that you know, without even trying, it seems to help people. Like, these are sometimes unconscious gifts. You know, some things to ask yourself, like, be like, you know, hey, ask questions that help people think clearly. I notice when people feel left out. I feel like I can stay calm when things get really tense. I see the efficiencies immediately. I make people feel seen and valued, whatever it is. Like, if it happens automatically and it helps, it counts. You know, and then look for the patterns, because that's where things start to unlock. Like, lay out everything. Like, look at all these areas that we've talked about. Like, what keeps showing up? What themes connect to these moments? Maybe you've got a lot of patterns around people-centered stuff like empathy, encouragement, connection, or system-centered, organized, structure, clarity. Maybe it's idea-centered, like creativity, strategy, you know, pattern recognition, or action, you know, centered, like execution, movement, problem solving, whatever it is. Communication, explaining, listening, storytelling. Like, these patterns, they aren't accidents, they're the signals. And sometimes you got to borrow someone else's eyes. Maybe you got to go to a couple people. I love the exercise I have people do all the time, which is like, you go to 3 people you know, and you just text them and say, hey, I'm doing an exercise to better understand myself. What do you think I'm naturally good at? What do you see me do easily that you think is a strength of mine? You know, you don't need flattery, it's just clarity. And once again, when they reply, it's going to be shocking to you, like, oh my gosh, like, that, you think that's what it is? And then after you have all these things together, you're going to write out a summary. Hey, based off everything, like, that seems effortless to me, what people thank me for, what I do automatically, my natural gifts are, and you're going to list out 2 to 3. And then attach real examples, not labels, evidence, like, and here's how that shows up. You know, and it's not final, it's the starting point that just gives you more clarity that most people never give themselves about their gifts and superpowers. Most people feel stuck because they're guessing who they are. And this is about like replacing the guessing with real evidence. You know, what you want to do, like, we're not adding anything new, like nothing magical is appearing. You're just finally paying attention to what's happening around you. And once you see these things clearly, you can't unsee them. Now, the third area I want to focus on is like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Like, this is about discovering gifts that feel like, breathing, while skills often require conscious effort. There's a big difference between just a skill and a gift. A gift can become a superpower because people get stuck. They're like, well, I'm good at this, so I guess that's what must be my thing. And it's like, well, most people never stop to consider, like, not everything you're good at, is yours to carry. Some things flow out of you naturally. Some things you've learned how to do. Some things you can do, but quietly, like, they drain the hell out of you. When you know how to spot the difference, burnout isn't a mystery. It's like, oh, well, it's inevitable. Like, I can see why it's happening. So here's what you want to do. Clarity through energy, not through any sort of ego. So we're going to learn, like, there's 3 buckets to pay attention to, right? Every ability in your life is going to fit into one of these categories. A gift, right? Like a gift or a superpower. These feel effortless, energize you. They've always been there. They get stronger the more that you use them, Something like, I've always been able to sense what people need, and I don't even try, I just notice. Now, that's gifts. Skills, they're learned through effort. They require focus. They're useful, but neutral. Sometimes they support your gifts, but they don't define you. Something like, hey, I learned public speaking. Like, I can do it well, but, like, it takes some intention. And then the third bucket is forced abilities. Like, you can do them, they drain you. Like, they never feel natural. Like, success still feels exhausting. Like, man, I can do the detailed admin work, but it beats the crap out of me. Like, it wipes me away. Once again, just knowing these things explains a lot for most people. Then, like, sort what you're actually doing. Like, get honest with yourself. Like, list out 10 to 15 things you currently spend time on at home, at work, in your life, and then sort them. Are they gifts, effortless and energizing? Are they skills, learned and neutral? Or are they forced, draining you even if you're competent in it? Like, once again, no moral judgment here, just data. Sometimes, like, people will use this exercise called the 2-hour energy test, where, like, you when you're unsure if something belongs, like, ask yourself, like, hey, after doing this for 2 hours, how do I feel? Energized? Tired but okay? Like, depleted or resentful? Well, gosh, but probably going to tell you if it's a gift, a skill, or forced. And then you look at your life, like your real life design. Once again, if you zoom out and you do rough estimates, like, what percentage of your time is in gifts? What percentage of your time is in skills? What percentage of your time is forced? Most burned out people often discover it's like 10% gifts, 30% skills, and like 60% forced. Once again, not a character flaw, it's just misalignment. Where healthier, it would be like 50 to 70% gifts, 20 to 40% skills, and minimal forced only when necessary. And then question what you're actually forcing. Like, why am I still doing this? Is it that I think I'm supposed to? Am I good at it? Someone has to do it? Like, this is just my role, whatever it is. Like, competence isn't a calling, and ask yourself, can this be eliminated, delegated, or maybe redesigned so my gifts can do more of the work? You might remember those terms from some of the previous videos. Maybe notice the gifts that you're not using. If you flip it and you look back on this gift summary from the second principle, like, which of these things am I barely using right now? Those gifts aren't gone. They're just kind of dormant, and dormant gifts create some quiet frustration. So how do we turn them back on? And then imagine your gift-led life. Once again, it's not about about an instant change. It's about just laying out direction. If you finish sentences like, hey, if I was leading my life with my gifts, I'd spend more time using blank. I'd reduce or delegate this thing. I'd develop skills that support my gifts, not replace them. Like, whatever. Like, you're not committing. You're just clarifying the things that are going to matter to you. And it, like, here's where you start to find the relief that you're going to feel. Most people, they don't hate their lives. They hate living outside of their design. When you stop treating everything like you can do it, like, just because you can, that you should, like, things shift. Once again, this distinction gives you permission to not to do less, but to do what actually fits you. When your gifts lead and your skills support, energy comes back on so much faster. Like, it's not laziness, it's true alignment. And then the last area is, like, you have to stop, like, staring at what you lack. You need to start leading with what you bring. Most people don't ever struggle. Like, it's not that you struggle with confidence because, like, that you don't have value. You struggle because, like, your attention is so trained in the wrong direction. From the time, like, we're young, we're taught to focus on, like, our gaps. What are we missing? What are we not good at? What do we need to fix? And when you, like, stare at the deficits for long enough, like, a gifted person stares and feels inadequate. And so this is about shifting that focus so that we're not looking at we're not pretending the weaknesses don't exist. Like, but we're finally being like, okay, well, yeah, those are there, but I got these gifts that I could give equal airtime to and make something out of. So this is how you're going to do this without lying to yourself. Like, you notice the deficit as a part of that. Like, pay attention to the quiet phrases that run in the background of your mind. Like, I'm not good at that. I wish I had blank. I'm too old, too late, too whatever. Like, I don't have blank. Other people can blank, and but I can't do that. Whatever it is, write out whatever they are. Maybe 5 to 10 that ones that you maybe hear most often. Once again, not about judgment, it's just about awareness. And then add gifts back in. For every one of those deficit statements, don't argue with it, just balance it. Like, well, that's not true. Like, we're not doing that. It's like, but hey, wait, that's not the whole story. Something like, I'm not great at public speaking, but like, I'm exceptional one-on-one. I don't have a big platform, but I deeply impact people that I work with. I'm quiet, but I notice things people miss. Once again, you're not denying reality, you're completing it. And then start to ask yourself questions that reframe this for yourself. Every time you catch yourself thinking about what you don't have, ask, like, instead of blank, what do I have? Instead of being loud, I'm thoughtful. Instead of being flashy, I'm grounded. Instead of being everywhere, I'm intentional. Do that enough and it becomes authentic. You can even rewrite like how you introduce yourself, because most people introduce themselves with like the roles they're living, the hats they're wearing, or their deficits. I'm a mom, I'm trying to figure things out. It's nothing special. Well, if we try leading with gifts instead, it's like, hey, I'm a stay-at-home parent. Like that, okay. Like, I'm someone who just naturally creates calm in the chaos, right? I notice what people need and I bring order to what's happening around me. Right now, I'm using those gifts at home and learning how to expand them beyond that. That's not ego, that's just accuracy. And then you practice seeing gifts in others. Train your eye to notice, like, what are other people doing? What do you see? Why it matters? Like, where you notice it. Like, you're practicing seeing gifts in others. It helps it see your own more clearly. And then, of course, like, at the end of the day, like, ending your day with evidence of, like, well, today I used whatever gift. I used blank gift when I did this thing. And it mattered because of blank. No matter how small the impact, it was, like, it could be super small impact, but it was an impact. Once again, bringing your gifts, not comparison to gatherings, like, especially as we have the holidays coming up, that's going to matter so much. Before you walk in, decide, like, what gift do I want to bring to this? Maybe it's warmth or steadiness or curiosity or listening, like whatever. And then bring that intentionally to that gathering. And people miss this. They criticize, yourself into lack of confidence. Like, the deficit focuses on, like, not like it. You're never going to create self-worth off of looking at the deficits. It keeps you chasing a version of yourself that's not going to be found. But when you notice what you're using, what you already bring to the table, things shift. You stop trying to earn value and just start expressing it. Like, that's when you feel whole, because you're showing up with your gifts and superpowers in a very natural way to others. And so here's the truth, like, that I want you to sit with today. Like, you already have everything you need. Your gifts, they're not missing. They're like, they weren't lost. Like, they're just hiding in plain sight because, like, they felt so normal to you. What comes easy, what you don't even think twice about, what you've been downplaying for years, it's not evidence that, that it doesn't matter. It's just evidence that it's truly yours and it's unique, and that's why it's a gift. Today is day 12, and you didn't, learn how to become someone new. You just started learning to see yourself clearly. Why, ease makes your gifts feel invisible, why gathering real evidence matters, how to separate what energizes you from what drains you, and how to shift the focus back to, like, from off of what you lack to what you carry. That's the beginning of this awakening phase. So here's what your next move is. Pick one small action and name it and acknowledge, like, go do the thing. That's it. Tomorrow's day 13. We're going to dive deeper into this stuff. We're going to start uncovering, like, how these gifts actually want to show up in your real life. Now, if you want to dive deeper into these sort of things, like I said at the top of the video, you want to get yourself a copy of The Giver Method on Amazon. The link is in the description. The entire book is about discovering your gifts and using them intentionally. Now, if you want, if you're ready for that transformation journey and you want that one-on-one guide to take you through it, then you should join the Ignition Accelerator program we launched. Where we're going to spend 90 days uncovering your specific gifts and building a life around, like, your life around them. Like, there's only a couple spots, so check the link. Once you go to the page, it'll tell you how many spots are left. If they're left, you go get yourself in there. Of course, do the YouTube thing, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, like the video, comment, like, what gift you want to go share today. Now it's December 12th, day 12 of 25, like, and you officially are starting to awaken, to what you already have inside you, and we're going to keep that progress going forward. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. Hopefully we'll catch you in one of our upcoming videos. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon.